Welcome. We start with a quote from Jack Welch, CEO of GE from 1982 to 2002.
Some think it's cruel or brutal to remove the least productive workers. It isn't. It's just the opposite. What I think is brutal and false kindness is keeping people around who won't prosper or help the team.
The following testimony is from the National Unity and Reconciliation hearings.
The committee calls Mr. Tyus Morris to testify.
Mr. Morris, do you swear the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the name of the Great Shepherd?
I do.
Mr. Morris, our focus is to shed light on the events that culminated in the fracture. As a member of the City Council and the son of the mayor, you had a unique view of what happened. Can you describe for this committee what you believe led our city to its breaking point?
I believe it was people who had the courage to stand up and defy a system that was no longer serving them.
Courage. So you do think the actions of the resistance were justified?
I believe our decisions cost us everything. This committee is the first genuine step in rebuilding what we lost. That's why we need to all tell the truth. We had the momentum of optimism, a belief in the cause. We just didn't recognize or refuse to see that we were racing towards a precipice. In our defense, we couldn't have imagined the depth of the fall.
You're not answering the question. Does the resistance, in your view, bear any responsibility for the death of Councilman Dearborn, a man whose death many point to as the start of the fracture?
Councilman Dearborn wasn't just a politician to me. He was a close friend of my father's. His wife, Ashley, and he had Sunday dinners at our home. So his death wasn't some distant political casualty. It was a profound personal loss.
So you do think the actions of the resistance were justified?
This town was founded with a specific mandate: to build and expand as quickly as possible. So the policies that the City Council and my father instituted were meant to be in service of that. And we all made tremendous progress for 2 decades. But at what cost? Eliminating the least productive among us every year? And the abuse of that system, the manipulation for political gain, was barbaric.
Any more outbursts, and I will have no choice but to clear the gallery.
I believe it created a fault line in our collective identity, in who we aspired to be. So to organize a resistance to that unjust system, what my father built? Yes, ma'am. I think that was justifiable.
Did you come to believe your father, the mayor, was corrupt?
To some, he was a tyrant. And to others, he was a savior. Was he the visionary who built Fairview from nothing? Or the man meticulously planning to destroy it? I think the record shows that I was clearly torn about whether I should remain loyal to the man who raised me, loved me, or betray him, based on evidence I was being shown.
But in the end, when the moment of decision came at that city council meeting, when you had to choose, you did betray him and voted against him.
I did.
And Mr. Morris, do you regret that decision?
Every day of my life.
Welcome to Hindsight, where tonight we begin to look back at the tumultuous period known simply as the fracture. My name is Caitlin Banford. This is the story of Fairview, a town founded on a brutal Faustian bargain, the annual removal of 10% of its least productive citizens. It's also the story of a powerful mayor whose oldest son is forced into a painful betrayal. But it all begins with the death of an up-and-coming city councilman, Dennis Dearborn, a candidate strongly endorsed by Mayor Mac Morris and the Fairview Tribune. To understand what led up to his death, I turned to Noah Donner, an investigative reporter for the Fairview Tribune during those fateful days.
I don't think anyone in Fairview will ever forget that election night. See, Councilman Dearborn was not a great man by any stretch, but sometimes unremarkable men find themselves at the very center of historical events. That night was clearly a turning point for this city and the mayor.
You had a conversation with Councilman Dearborn while he was on the campaign trail.
Yeah, it was election day. He'd been canvassing for votes in the neighborhood, and some of the things he said seemed off from what the mayor preached. I think he was caught between his conscience and his survival instinct. I think it's something, in hindsight, that he was wrestling with that day. About the election, Councilman?
Good. I want people to get out and vote, but you can't have a democracy, even, our version of democracy, without people's honest and free vote.
What do you mean by our version of democracy?
I
think that's enough questions for right now. Councilman, I think this house has some people at home. If you'll excuse us.
That night, the mayor, as always, threw a big election party on top of City Hall. Everyone who was important in the city was there. However, I want to focus in on two specific people at the party. Tyus Morris, the mayor's eldest son, the heir apparent to the mayor's power, and a woman who at that time said her name was Rebecca. I asked Noah how he got a recording of their first meeting.
Even though Tyus was considered the most level-headed of his powerful family, wearing a wire to talk to him was still quite risky. So, I think she eventually gave the tapes to me in case anything happened to her.
The recording isn't great, but bear with us. It's all we got.
Deviled egg?
Are they good?
They're terrible.
Then why are you serving them?
If I pick an appetizer no one likes, then I don't have to keep going back to the kitchen, which is on the other side of the building.
Okay. How long have you been carrying that tray?
Oh, we're going on 2 hours.
Oh, eggs are great after 2 hours. What's your record?
3 hours with the same liver pate last year.
Well, I'm pulling for you.
So you want some?
I do not.
Now, as they are talking, the election night results start to come in.
This is WCRP Radio. We have breaking news in the city council race. With 89% of the votes counted, we can now project that Councilman Dearborn will be re-elected to the city council. As in his previous campaigns, Dearborn received endorsements from the mayor and the Fairview Tribune. We'll have reports later tonight from his election party on top of City Hall. Stay tuned for more updates on this developing story.
It's another huge victory for the mayor and his party. So, of course, the mayor wants to take credit.
This is a night for celebration because democracy has won the night. You have spoken loud and clear, and as your mayor, I couldn't be more proud of our great city. While we're waiting for the councilman to arrive, I'll remind you all that tomorrow, after the list comes out, there will be our barbecue celebration and ribbon-cutting ceremony down at Villas Park to open the Unity Bridge, which will be another step forward for our community. I'm sure I will see all of you there tomorrow.
Not all of us.
Well, not you, sir. You definitely just made the list. I'm obviously joking. Trust me, if I had control of the list, there'd be a lot more people gone tomorrow. Oh, there he is. Let's welcome to the stage your re-elected councilman, Councilman Dennis Dearborn.
When the councilman got up to the podium, I noticed that he didn't shake the mayor's hand. The mayor didn't make a big deal of it, but he was pissed. That's definitely not something anyone would do to the mayor.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I have come to believe that what we consider the truth is never simple. And I can no longer just justify my personal actions or the council's actions, and certainly not the mayor's actions, with this hollow excuse that we were serving the greater good. The cause. That's a lie I told myself. That's a lie we told you. And it wasn't noble. It was selfish. And I'm not worthy to represent you because a civilization built on lies is not civil at all. And it's not worth saving. And neither am I.
Turn his mic off!
Get out! I call on the mayor to be truthful about the cause.
And then they cut off the councilman's mic.
Councilman Dearborn giving his acceptance speech. There's been an interruption. We don't really quite know what's going on. We do see that there are police who are approaching the stage. It appears as though they want Councilman Dearborn to come with them. He is resisting their attempts to remove him from the stage. He has broken free. He's running. Oh no. Oh my God. The councilman has jumped. The councilman has jumped.
And the councilman just jumped off City Hall.
Oh my God.
A shocking end to what should have been a night of triumph for Councilman Dearborn. For years, the official narrative was one of a troubled man taking his own life. We never had a true understanding of what really happened that night until the National Unity and Reconciliation Committee began its hearings.
Mr. Blades, you were a catering manager at the City Hall event on the night that Councilman Dearborn died. You saw what happened. Can you describe it?
Here's the thing about that night, with Dearborn. This is something nobody ever talks about. He didn't just jump, like you see in the movies, flailing around. No. The dude dove, like head first. Like he was in a damn hurry. Like I was right there near the wall when it happened, and he was smiling.
If Mr. Blades' testimony chipped away at the official findings of Councilman Dearborn's death, then the next witness, Sarah Baxter, shattered it completely. She put a human face on what led up to his death. For the proper context of this tragedy, we will begin at the start of her testimony.
Proceed, Mrs. Baxter.
A year before the councilman jumped, I was in the kitchen with my husband, John. I don't know. You're always a little nervous for New Year's Day, but this was the 12th elimination we'd been through, so, nobody's ever 100% sure they're gonna make it through a coal. Except for maybe Kyle, next door. He didn't seem nervous at all. He was laughing about it a couple of days before when we were at this thing for the kids' at school. He'd had a couple of drinks in him, and he had this whole theory on who was eliminated and who wasn't. See, he thought it didn't matter how much you produced or how hard that you worked, just don't rock the boat. He kept saying, "Oh, stay in line, you'll be fine." My father always said there's two types of people in town. People who are absolutely sure they won't get selected, and those who don't get selected.
And you thought Kyle would be eliminated?
Oh, yeah, we all did. Really, I was just worried for Carrie, Kyle's wife. Carrie and I, we had kids around the same time, so Lila and Maddie were sort of raised together. So our whole family was nervous for them. On the morning that the list was released, Lila, our daughter, she was in the living room looking out the window at their house. John and I were in the kitchen making brunch.
WCRP. All right, it's 11:55 a.m. That means all the trucks are out delivering the list. If they haven't gotten to your neighborhood yet, they will by noon. Be patient. As always, just a friendly reminder to everybody in Fairview, even if the list has been dropped off outside your home, it don't mean you can leave your home and open it. That's a big no-no. You've waited a year, you can wait another 5 minutes. Meanwhile, let's keep standing with a little Elton John.
As soon as the last bell rang, Lila sprinted out the door. John stayed back so that the eggs wouldn't burn, and I ran after Lila. Everyone on the street was just flying out of their doors, except for Carrie and Kyle. Their door was closed, and I ran up to Lila, and she'd opened the bundle and was scanning the list. It was maybe 5 pages that year, and I didn't see Kyle's name. I heard Carrie's voice, and I turned back to their house, and their front door opened, and their daughter Maddie was running out. Carrie was behind her alone. Then I heard, "Did I scare you?" And Kyle came out holding his beer. He was just laughing. Not a care in the world. I was about to answer when I heard Lila scream, and she showed me the list. I ran back into the house. I went into the kitchen, and he was gone. John was just gone. Just like that. The eggs were turning black, and the spatula was on the ground. After a while, word got out that John was on the list. And, of course, people started coming in and comforting me.
Mrs. Baxter, I know this is hard, and I'm sorry, but we do have to continue because this committee is tasked with understanding how the call was abused, how citizens were discarded simply to maintain order and ensure the powerful stayed in control. Our goal, obviously, is to stop this from ever happening again. But in order to do that, we do have to understand why some were taken and others were not, right? Your husband, John, do you have any insight, any reasons that you know of why he was selected for elimination?
No. I still really don't know why John was selected. He was so productive. He worked 12-hour days and volunteered on the weekends, paid his bills. How could he be in the bottom 10%? But you know, there's always surprises. But he was a good man. So I hope this committee will give me some answers. Because for years, I've heard people whispering about John that maybe he had secrets or something like that, but they are wrong. So I don't know. I don't know. Who was I going to complain to? The mayor? The police? The city council? I just felt so much anger, and I felt completely lost. I was going to do whatever I could to get revenge on the people who were responsible for my husband being taken, including the councilman.
So what did you do?
I joined the resistance.
Mad Marty here. Are you ready to capture some memories in the palm of your own hands? This S5 camcorder is so tiny, it's a miracle of miniaturization. It's got 10 times zoom lens, so you can get those close-ups from far away. It's so light, you'll forget you're even holding it. Get yours for $488. But wait a minute, I'm feeling reckless. So I'm tossing in a 15-speed bicycle with your camcorder purchase. Think of it, you can bike to the park and film your friends. This is a 2-for-1 deal that's completely bananas. Come on down to the corner of Regent and Main and get crazy with Mad Marty. What's wrong with me?
Welcome back. Noah, I wanted to take a moment to talk a little about how we both came to this story. As some of you know, I served as communications director for Mayor Maxwell Morris, Mayor Mac, for 3 years. I wasn't just part of the system, I was its public face. I spun the stories, all I thought, in service to the cause. Noah, you were a reporter for your father's paper, the Fairview Tribune. Had you heard of the Midnight Sun? Maybe seen the graffiti protesting the mayor?
I'd seen it, yes, but I didn't know it was part of a movement. The first time I connected with Rebecca was a few days after the re-election party, where the councilman jumped. She didn't, at the time, say that she was part of, an organized group. My father was dying, so I was essentially running the Tribune, and I'd written that piece about the councilman's death, mentioning that strange interview we'd had earlier, and some other stuff that we'll get to. But, yeah, perhaps that's what made them think I could be trusted. Someone who was willing to question the official narrative from the mayor.
Why had you even dared to push back against the official line?
The words the councilman had said to me really resonated. A civilization that is built on lies is not civil at all.
True. But let's get back to Rebecca and Tyus talking. This next part of audio is taken from about 20 minutes before the councilman jumped.
Yes, a well-planned meet cute. They're flirting for a bit, and then her manager shows up.
Was this part of the plan?
Oh, yeah, this was all planned. So the only person who didn't know what was happening was Tyus.
Excuse me, Rebecca. Please return to the kitchen. Sorry.
What's the problem?
I want to personally apologize to you, sir. The staff was given very specific instructions not to mingle with the attendees.
Oh, see, no. Rebecca here is my designated deviled egg connection. I can't get enough of these things.
He loves them. Here, have another.
No, I couldn't.
Sure you could.
Wow, they really are best at room temperature. But thank you, sir, for your concern. You can leave.
Okay, yeah, right, of course. Rebecca, by the way, if you could stop by my office tonight?
No can do. I'm quitting. Yeah, so it's gonna be hard for you to fire me. Sort of a chicken and the deviled egg situation.
Yeah.
And boom, she just leaves the party.
Which, again, all part of the plan.
Yep, get fired by the manager or quit, leave the party, and hope Tyus follows.
And did he?
He sure did.
Rebecca! Rebecca!
Why are you yelling?
Well, I wasn't sure you could hear me.
The street is empty.
Right. Yeah. So, we didn't finish our conversation.
About appetizers?
Yeah. I mean, we hadn't gotten to sliders or tiny quiches yet.
Overrated. Don't get me wrong, that conversation all sounds scintillating. However, I'm pretty sure since I quit, I'm not getting a shuttle ride back to the Boundary by midnight, so I've got a long walk in front of me. Nice meeting you, Tyus.
Hey, you want to take the Unity Bridge? You'll get you home in 10 minutes.
It's closed till tomorrow.
Not for me. I'm pretty important. I don't even let the catering staff talk to me.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So, get him alone, away from the party, the power bubble he lived in. Rebecca told me they targeted him because he was the most reasonable of the family. His younger brother, Anam, was feared, known as a zealot for the cause. There were always these rumors coming out of City Hall about someone disagreeing with him in a meeting or, getting his coffee order wrong, and then boom, the next year, that person was culled.
Turns out some of those rumors were true.
Exactly. And the mayor's wife, Bethany, even worse. Many saw her as the dark power behind the throne, and she clearly favored Anam over Tyus. She wanted him to take over for the mayor, not Tyus. While Anam embraced the family legacy like a birthright, Tyus wore it like an ill-fitting suit. He believed in the cause, sure, but there was always this hesitation, this sense that he was trying to reconcile the methods of his father, who he very much admired, with his own moral compass.
A difficult balancing act.
Almost impossible, really. When your father's building a lifeboat through fear, you can either accept the contradiction or spend your life trying to resolve it. And Tyus chose the latter.
And that made him vulnerable.
Well, it made him human. The one variable his father could never quite control. He's like a piece on the game board that occasionally wondered if they were playing the game fairly.
And taking Rebecca to the Unity Bridge was a perfect example.
Mm-hmm. In fact, Tyus was asked about this later during his testimony at the National Unity and Reconciliation hearings.
I was aware that was something I wasn't supposed to do. It's probably why I did it. It was a secure location. We were having the opening the next day. Don't get me wrong, there were a lot of benefits to being in my family. But as I grew older, I felt like I wanted to push back more, to not be so sheltered. Also, she was very attractive.
You weren't worried about the resistance?
Not really. I had seen the occasional yellow sun graffiti on buildings and buses like everyone else, but thought it was just kids. The idea of an organized resistance seemed overblown. My younger brother Anam and my mother Bethany were always talking to my father about it. I dismissed it because I thought they were inflating the threat to give more power and control to the police, which Anam wanted to be the head of, so no. Honestly, I was just happy that I got a chance to talk to this woman who wasn't like anyone else I had met. She told you exactly how she felt at all times.
I think that was Rebecca's magic trick. Tyus was so used to people kowtowing and stammering around him that anyone who came along and didn't give a shit was enticing.
So Tyus and Rebecca make their way to the bridge and are sitting overlooking the ravine for how long?
About an hour. And then around midnight, she begins to show her cards.
Once we open the bridge, we'll have 100 square miles more just on the peninsula for expansion, more apartments, shops, infrastructure. The outsiders who work in town will have a commute that's 1/10 the time. Everybody wins.
What happens to the people beyond the Boundary who have homes where you want to expand?
They would be paid a fair price. We would help them move.
And if they didn't want to move?
I don't know. Maybe we relocate some people. My father has promised that those that want to continue to live beyond the Boundary can do so.
So long as they move.
I don't know. My father has to make a lot of tough calls, but he's reasonable. I'm sure the council and him have thought it through.
I think he has thought it through. This bridge moves the boundary of the city. That means those that stay in their homes in the valley will now be subjected to the cull. They'll be stuck. Help the cause or be eliminated. Essentially, slave.
What? No, my father has...
Let me guess, promised?
Okay, hey, all I can say is, right now, there's no plans to relocate anyone in the valley. Or make anyone subject to the cull who's not in the city limits. We just want to make sure we have enough room on the peninsula for everybody who is on their way.
Oh yes, the cause, the great justification for everything.
I'm sure you don't agree with everything my father does, but there is so much riding on us to succeed. So many people's lives depend on us expanding. This has to work. That's part of politics.
Politics is what weak men call morality when they're afraid of it.
Wow, she's really calling him out.
Yeah. And I think up to this moment, no one had really been this honest with him. You know, Tyus loved his father, so he turned a blind eye to how he wielded his power.
Intentional obliviousness?
Exactly.
Can I ask you something? Why are you even talking to me? You seem to disagree with everything my father is trying to do here.
There's hope with you, Tyus.
What do you mean?
You could fulfill the promise of this place when you take over.
It's not for sure that I will take over. It's up to the voters.
You know, I know that eventually you'll be in charge. And you could change things. You could take away the fear we all live with.
People aren't afraid.
Tyus, tomorrow at noon, 10% of the population disappears. You don't think that tonight there aren't terrified children wondering if their mom or dad will be gone tomorrow? There are. I was one of those kids. I lost both parents because they got delayed at work and didn't get back to the boundary by midnight. You say it's about progress, but that's just buildings and roads. There's so much more that makes a civilization. There has to be some level of humanity.
What about all the people who need to come here? You understand the stakes of this place. How many lives are at stake? Where are we going to put them? Eventually, we're going to run out of room if we don't expand across the ravine. And yes, there might be some collateral damage.
Collateral damage. Got it. Okay. We're talking about real people's lives.
Yes, we are. But I don't think you're seeing the big picture. Rebecca, it's midnight. You've got to go. I wish this had gone better. I wish you believed that what my father is doing is for the common good.
Okay. But remember this. For the common good is what tyrants say.
And did you follow her?
I didn't. I thought that she was probably right. That we were beginning to lose sight of the goal of this place, to be a lifeboat. It made me start to believe that if I stayed on this path, I was either going to end up ruling like my father or jumping into the ravine.
So what did you do after that meeting?
I knew I had to find her and tell her that.
And did you?
No. The next day I found out she had been culled.
Mad Marty here. Listen up, people. I'm about to make you a deal that's too good to be true. We've got a fantastic cordless drill that's a total game changer. It's got a rechargeable battery, so you'll never trip over that pesky cord again. It's the ultimate tool for any do-it-yourself maniacs for just $69. I'm also feeling totally off my rocker. I'm giving you a CD player, a digital audio machine with the power tool. What's that have to do with anything? Nothing. That's how you know I'm completely bonkers. So come on down to the corner of Regent and Main and get crazy with Mad Marty. What's wrong with me?
So the sun rises on January 1st, the day of the cull. I asked Noah to explain what the next few days should have looked like in Fairview.
Ever since the Liberty Rebellion, when the mayor had taken over, the end of the year was always the same, right? Election night for one of the council seats was New Year's Eve, then New Year's Day was the cull at noon. And I believe just under 10,000 were taken in the year we're talking about?
9,778.
Does that include Rebecca?
Let's not spoil it. That's for the next episode.
Okay. So the cull happens on New Year's Day, and the following day, the new migrants would arrive at the waterfront.
But before that...
Yeah. So before that, just after the cull, the mayor had his annual barbecue at Vilas Park for the survivors. The mayor would make his spared ribs for everyone. You know, there was barbecue, rides, games, and a whole lot of gossip about the cull. You know, who was taken, who had survived. But this year was a little different. This year, the mayor was also opening the Unity Bridge over the ravine that he'd been planning for 3 years. It was a very big deal for him in the city. It meant that those who lived beyond the boundary could get to the city to work in 10 minutes as opposed to the 2 hours it usually took to go around the ravine.
I thought to understand the significance of the Unity Bridge over the ravine, I would talk to Mara and David Thompson, who wrote the bestseller In Fairview's Shadow, The Rise of the Midnight Sun. It's required reading if you want to know what really happened.
The Unity Bridge, when finished, was a magnificent structure of steel, glass, and tension spanning across the full 100 meters chasm of the ravine.
Yeah.
Its completion was a testament to Fairview's remarkable advancements in structural engineering. It was the first large-scale public works project in the city that wasn't dedicated to housing or civic buildings.
Yeah, that's right. And it was approved by the council in a 4-1 vote. The bridge was, well, at least according to Mayor Morris, meant to build a bridge to the outsiders. But to those living beyond the boundary, it felt more ominous. Right? 20 years earlier, after the Liberty Uprising, the outsiders had been given their autonomy, as long as they remained beyond Fairview's borders. Or if they worked in the city but returned by midnight, they were safe from the cull. But this bridge, it threatened to redraw those lines in the sand, to nullify that agreement. So to the outsiders, it was really a Trojan horse, a gift with a more, what would you say, sinister agenda lurking beneath.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you give a gift like that, what do? You throw a party.
WCRP. All right, party people, it's 1 on a glorious New Year's Day. Big ups to everyone still kicking, and of course, our thoughts are with those who've lost loved ones. But it's time to celebrate. Get your lucky booties down to Independence Park by 5 p.m. today. We'll be live and direct in front of the Zipper, slinging wristbands to the kiddos and free brews to the parents. ID required, of course. At 8 o'clock, the mayor's gonna be cutting the ribbon on the Unity Bridge, followed by as a firework. WCRP, Fairview's only rock and roll station, baby. Woo! Now let's kick it off with little Destiny's Child, Survivor.
So Noah, there's probably a couple thousand people there that night. Food trucks, rides, balloons, and a podium in front of the bridge with a banner above the dais that says, Together, Forward.
Yes, lots of people there, and there's obviously a palpable feeling of relief. I mean, people wouldn't openly offer opinions about who was taken and who wasn't because, obviously that's a big no-no.
Lots of opinions with eyebrow raises, not words.
Exactly. A lot of, did you hear about Mark's wife? That's surprising. Or Robert made it through. Interesting. Wow.
Basically anything that could be read in court if you got turned in, but could be explained away.
Yes. Then around 7 p.m., there's a moment of silence for those that have been culled, and then the national anthem is played. And then the mayor came on stage with his whole family, Tyus, Anam, and his wife, Bethany. I'm in the middle of the crowd, and I remember looking at Tyus, and it seemed like he was a million miles away when his father talked. Then the mayor took the microphone and, as he always did, made a big joke about the cull.
What were you all so worried about?
We should clarify that we have not added music to this.
Exactly. The mayor would play the soundtrack to famous movies under his speeches so that it gave them, I quote, more kick. I believe this is from The Mission.
Today we stand on the precipice of a new dawn. My son Tyus, a man of compassion and vision, will step forward to fill the void left by the loss of Councilman Dearborn. I hope you will support him in the special election next week. It is time, my friends, to look beyond the horizon of my leadership and see the promise of a brighter future in the next generation.
I could immediately tell from the shocked expression on Tyus's face that he had not been part of this decision to run for a council seat.
Now, this Unity Bridge is a symbol of our commitment to unity, It spans not only the ravine, but the chasm that has separated our community from the outsiders. This bridge will make it easier for them to walk among us. And I promise we will welcome them. They will not be forced to join our community, but instead, through our collective sense of purpose, we will demonstrate that a life of service to the cause is a life well lived. Tonight, I officially open the Unity Bridge. Let us build a Fairview that shines as a beacon of hope for all humanity.
In front of him was this giant red button, which was to trigger the celebration with fireworks and music.
God bless all of you, and God bless Fairview.
Can you describe what happened after your father pressed the button?
Yes, there was nothing at first. My father was very confused, angry, and then there was a huge explosion. At first, we thought it was part of the fireworks. However, it became pretty obvious quickly that wasn't the case. The whole left side of the bridge began to collapse into the ravine, followed by another detonation. This took out the right side of the bridge, sending the entire structure into the ravine.
How long do you think this went on for?
It felt like minutes, but I think it must have been less than 30 seconds. There was a message on one of the support beams that was still standing upright on the side of the ravine. It was one word, and it was on fire.
And what was that word?
Tyrant.
And at this point, looking at the bridge, the wreckage, the chaos in front of you, the message, do you remember what you were thinking?
I do. That the resistance was real.
This has been Hindsight. Join us next week as we unravel the mystery behind Rebecca's disappearance, a story that challenges everything we thought we knew about Fairview's past. Support for this show comes from listeners like you. I'm Caitlin Banford. Until next time.
Hello, this is JD Walsh. I'm the creator of the show. I'm not going to do this after each episode, but I thought I'd say something at the end of the first one and maybe again at the end of the second, just to say thank you. Thank you for listening. This has been a labor of love for me for a few years now, so it means a lot to me that you listened. Hopefully you're listening on a car drive or a treadmill someplace and it's making the time go quicker. And if you like the show, then tell as many people as you can. You know, posting a link on your social media would be super helpful, or leave a review. And if you didn't like it, then keep it a secret, because nobody likes a snitch. I couldn't have done this without a bunch of people. I guess I could have, but it would have been pretty bad. Everyone would have sounded like a robot, and sound effects would have just been whatever I could make up with my mouth. So I wanted to thank the artists and the actors and the actresses and the sound designer who made this possible. I will list them all in just a second. They helped for very little pay. So if you want to get a second season faster, please consider supporting the show. All you need to do is look up Hindsight, The Fracture at GoFundMe. All that money that we receive, anything that we get, will go directly to the actors and actresses and our sound designer. If you want to email me, I'd love to hear from you. Here's my personal email. It's thejdwalsh@hotmail.com, thejdwalsh@hotmail.com. I will respond, even if you ask me a question that I'm not going to answer, you'll still hear from me. Okay, here are the names of everyone who I could not have done the show without. The first two people who helped me the most, really shaped the story, are Hagai Shaman and Elizabeth Triplett. They spent hours and hours and days and months with me talking about this show, this world, and the people who live in it. This show would have been terrible without them, so I really owe them. I also wanted to give a shout out to Jeff Keeler, who did the sound design on this show. He took an okay show and just turned it into something really special. So if you need sound design, find Jeff Keeler. He is fantastic. Okay, here are the actors and actresses who made this show so special. I'm going to try to say all their names in 30 seconds, and I'm going to say their names as if I'm discovering their names, but really, it's written down for me. So, here it goes. Whitney Avalon, Grace Bannon, Lee Becker, Alan Blumenfeld, Jeff Brain, Peter Brettmeyer, Scott Cushman, Rebecca Davis, Jack DeSena, Jen Fiscom, Ali Gondor, Allison Hayslip, Merritt Hicks, Dave Holmes, Darren Lanning, Jonathan Mangum, Jordan T. Maxwell, Sean Patrick Murphy, Hillary Ann Matthews, Ashley Opstad, Lindsay Payne, Terry Reeves, Kurt Scholler, Carrie Secor, Kyle Secor, Gabe Tigerman, Elizabeth Triplett, Ella Walsh, Deirdre Walsh, Jeff Werner, Stephanie Werner, Keisha Williams. That's it. We did it. Thanks for listening.